The formation. So the formation was more of a 3-4-3 with... at times it became a 3-4-2-1. It depended kind of... My big issue with it... A big issue, who am I? I'm just some bloke, not Antonio Conte. But my issue with it was that in the formation with wing-backs, the wing-backs provide the width. So automatically, you don't require wingers. Because otherwise they're running into each other's pathways. And what it naturally does is it pushes those wingers in field. And that was what we saw. Lucas and Son kind of came into this congested area in the middle, kind of around Kane. And for me, I think part of the problems lay there. Part of the problems lie that they're just three players that aren't really firing completely at the moment. And yeah, it didn't work for me. From my personal point of view, and I think this is where Tottenham will go, I think we'll see it become a 3-4-1-2. I think we'll see a return of Son and Kane together as a strike partnership, which was brilliant under Jose Mourinho. They were, as a strike partnership, they were probably up there with the best around. And this is why, when we talk about the likes of Vlahovic and stuff, and Spurs still looking at him, I don't actually think they can probably better Son and Kane as a partnership. I think it is one of Europe's best strike partnerships. The numbers last year bear that out. And then I think that number 10 role behind them, for now, maybe goes to Tongi on Dembele. It maybe goes to Lo Celso, who I saw getting a lot of hate because he did another one of those rubbish corners that didn't beat the first man. Again, give these players a bit of time. They've got to adjust to the Conte way. They've got to get their fitness up, and I think you'll see different players, all of them. Lucas can play that number 10 role, as can Dele. I personally would prefer a passer, someone that can thread the ball through to the strikers or out to the wing-backs. I think Bryan Hill could potentially play that role. He's kind of played in that more central number 10 role a couple of times already for Tottenham, and I think he's got the creativity, to do it, but obviously he's still very much settling into the Premier League. Steven Bergwijn can play it. I don't think it naturally fits him as well. I do wonder, with the likes of Lucas and Bergwijn, whether at some point, whether they end up being kind of converted wing-backs at some point in some games. I don't know. It may be that it just happens tactically as a game goes on, if a substitution has to be made, I don't know. But, I'm intrigued to say, I think he converted, was it Moses? He converted to a wing-back, I can't remember. But, I'm intrigued to see what happens to them, because we've now gone from this weird scenario of the one position Tottenham are overloaded on in their squad is wingers. And now they kind of got a boss who comes in who doesn't really require wingers. It's a weird one, but there you go. We'll see what kind of happens. I think the January transfer window will start to shape that as well. But yeah, for me, I think if we go to a 3-4-1-2 formation, I think Lucas is probably the one in danger. And I know there's a lot of Lucas fans out there, and I appreciate how incredibly hardworking he is. And he is certainly a guy that when things aren't going your way, can create something out of nothing with his pace and his just direct running. He certainly can. However, and unfortunately, anyone that's watched these will know this has always been my Lucas. One thing that frustrates me about him is his decision-making in the final third isn't his greatest asset. It's something that, on Sunday I felt there were quite a few moves that got to Lucas and then they broke down because he either didn't use the ball well or he tried one of his runs and he lost the ball. I think I looked up his passing stats and I think the only people, he was in the 60s as well, the only people lower in their passing success rate were Reguilon, and I think Lo Celso in his little kind of time from the bench was less as well. You look at the coaching setup that Conte's brought in with him, 6 coaches, but 3 of those are fitness coaches. And you've got Ryan Mason, who will be the first team coach. You've got his assistant as well. You've got his brother as well, who is like a kind of a tactical analysis chap. It's Ryan Mason will have a good part in that team. It's not a team where Ryan Mason is kind of fighting for attention. Ledley King was very much I don't mean to sound patronising, because it kind of what it was. He was almost like the work experience boy when it was kind of Mourinho stuff, because he didn't have the qualifications. He didn't have. I don't even think he barely had even his basic coaching qualification. He was working towards that. So he was very much, and I said this at the time, he was first team assistant. There was no coach on the end of his title. He was first team assistant. Whereas Ryan Mason, he's I'm trying to remember, he's actually got his pro license now, or he was working towards it. But either way, he is a proper coach, and he's first team coach. That's his title. Let's talk about the fitness, because Conte has come in and seen what I think we can all see, that the fitness is just meh. It's not there for a team that wants to play high energy football. It wasn't before. Nuno came in and very much felt exactly the same, that the fitness was poor. I think he tried to get the fitness up, but it was. If I'm going to give him a defence, it was difficult in terms of the pre-season he had. He didn't have all of the people that are away at the Euros or the Copa America. And then he's playing catch-up because of the sheer number of games Spurs had. So he never really got them there. This is going to be the issue for Conte as well. He's not going to have it any easier. But what he's got this international break where I think there's 11 players back at Hotspur Way who aren't going away on internationals. And they're going to get like a boot camp. It's going to be like a mini pre-season. They're going to be worked like dogs. They really are. They're absolutely going to be put through their paces. And I think that's great. Like I say, for Tongi, he'll be there. Reguilon, it'll be great 2 weeks to really focus on that wing-back role and what he does. Like I say, Ryan Sessegnon coming back from it. I think Brian Hill must be on his way back as well. The likes of Dele and Harry Winks, some players like that who, maybe look like they were possibly on their way out of the club in January. This is their chance to work with Conte, and then decisions will be made by all parties over whether that still happens or whether he sees a future for them within his system. Because, Harry Winks came on. I saw him about 17 minutes or so from the bench against Vitesse. I thought he played really well. And again, players we may have written off or decided that they're the worst player to ever wear a Tottenham shirt, or whatever extremes we go to. New manager, you never know. You really never know what comes of them. It may well be that Dele and Harry Winks both depart in January still. But Conte is kind of making it clear that they've all got a chance to impress. So you've got these 2 weeks with the players will get that kind of thing. I'm also told, though, those players going away on international duty, they are not escaping. I'm told most of them. I think it's probably primarily those who are going away who haven't played lots of minutes for Spurs. I'm told that they've all been given individual training schedules that they have to do on top of their international training stuff. Because Conte wants them all back at it just wants to he said it the other day, I want 95 minutes of high energy football, and they are not in the shape to do that right now. So, it may be that you get little injuries from it in the meantime while they're trying to get there, but once they're super fit, you should probably, the idea is you get less injuries because they're much fitter and stronger. But he wants them stronger, fitter, faster, and his history shows he gets that at every club. It's a demanding style he calls from his players, but results speak for themselves. They really do. So yeah, we'll see. I'm going to do something a little bit different now to what I normally do. I'm going to read something out. It's not too long, but I just thought it absolutely gives you a really great insight into Conte and all of this fitness work and the way he works. And I think it's better than anything I can say. So Romelu Lukaku, if you haven't seen this, did an interview with Paul Gilmore, a really good journalist with Sky Sports. I think he did it during the season while Inter Milan were on their way to the title. So I'm just going to read out Lukaku's quotes. And it's a bit about the work they did, and it's a bit about Conte. So apologies for kind of making this story time, but I think it serves a really good purpose in terms of giving you a snapshot of life as a player under Antonio Conte. So this is Romelu Lukaku. We as players in the dressing room are focused on the work we have to do because the manager is on us every day. It's a good thing to see because I remember in the first training sessions when I was there, the physical work, I was not used to this. We're talking about the Premier League being physically the toughest league, but the training sessions that we do, nobody trains as hard as us. Never. You're really at your fittest. For me, I remember the first 2 weeks when I came, I spoke to my agent and I said, I'm suffering a lot in training because I never did this type of work. But Conte is always there at the sidelines, encouraging every player to do the work. When I was looking around me, no one was moaning. Everyone was getting on with it. So for me, it was something special, because sometimes coaches are on the sidelines making jokes because you can't do it. But he is there on the sideline, making you, wanting you to do more, encouraging you to do more. It can be as hard as you imagine, but no player will give up, because he will give you that energy to keep going. That shows in the intensity on the pitch. We are the team that runs the most. We create a lot of chances, and we have a great defence because we don't give up until the end. It's great to see, and for me, it was like, finally, my full potential can come out. So apologies for going into story time mode there, but I think that gives you a great insight, far better than I can, a really great insight into what Conte does. He will flog you to death, essentially. I think Reguilon, in his interview the other day, spoke about Hakimi at PSG now, who worked with him at Inter as well. And Hakimi said the same thing. He will make you feel dead after training sessions. But when it comes to the matches, you'll understand absolutely why. He will have improved you. You'll be better for everything he does. And that's what's really exciting about Conte. You know, I've spoken before